sometimes some of the most obvious pieces of information that you can give somebody are aside from being the most obvious, the most difficult to explain. And what I'm trying to tell people, I'm trying to convince people of, and to remind them of, is the following. Despite what the radical left, lefty, crazy, lunatic, whatever these people are who comprise the various media, despite all of that, I am telling you specifically this. They can't stand Kamala. Kamala is somebody that has not in any way, in any stretch of the imagination, somebody that they can get along with, they can understand. Biden was a person. Listen, this is a palace coup. This was the Democratic Party that was, I guess, for lack of a better word, it was kidnapped by these folks, kidnapped and put into the position where they got stuck with this. Now, there was a while back when people said, okay, look, she was your vice president. They said, oh, okay. But nobody really anticipated what that means. Let's face it, in our system, we normally don't consider vice presidents to be viable swords. They're sort of people that are, well, they're just kind of there. And they're there theoretically, it's like Miss Congeniality or something. There's this, and in the event that Miss America cannot fulfill her, the first runner-up, and this, it's like the silver medal. It's okay. I mean, but we never, it doesn't, it's only had to be activated a few times in modern history. So nobody really thought or imagined what it would be like for her to be there. Well, now they do. And they had no idea that she would be this bad. Now, first and foremost, normally there's something called the practice effect. And the practice effect is that when you do something long enough and you at least show a modicum of interest in trying to, become good at what it is you're trying to do, after a while, you can't help but become at least better at what you're trying to do. It's just that simple. You just, if you went out just right now and said, here, run down to the block, just take a few steps, and that was pretty good. Okay, you did it in X amount of seconds or minutes, whatever it was. And we do it again, and the next day, and without even trying, you'll be faster. Speed begets speed, and practice becomes practice, and proficiency begets normally proficiency, except in her particular case. In her case, that which was a sign of ineffectual speaking and communication skills, that took off with a vengeance, the likes of which nobody understood. Nobody could grasp that. They couldn't believe what they were seeing because it just took off. I mean, it got worse and worse and worse and worse and worse and worse, and the laughing and the cackling, and it got worse and worse. And I mean, it wasn't even remotely serious. It's like, wait a minute, stop this. We understood maybe in the old days when you cackled and you cachinnated and chortled and guffawed, and maybe it was nervousness, but you've been a vice president now for 3.5 years, and you were a senator, whatever that means, and normally just by virtue of you being coached or having some tutor or somebody come in, you would think somebody would become better. Well, she hasn't, and this drives these people crazy. We live in a trolling society, my friends, and there's no way that anybody with 2 eyes and 2 neurons and a workable synapse could ever, and I mean that, miss the fact that she doesn't know what she's talking about. And throughout the course of this, the other day, even when she was appearing before in her second, remember, President Trump was suffered assassination attempts in terms of the same number as her actual sit-down, legitimate interrogations and questions from news personnel. I mean, it blows our minds. How does this even work? How does this work? How does this work? It's beyond anything anybody's ever seen. It's beyond comprehension. How is it that the other day when she was asked very simple questions, when he said, listen, in just in your own words, can you think of anything specifically? Take your own time, pick what you want, but something that we can, call basically specifically what it is that you like or dislike about a particular worldview or subject matter or whatever it is. And the best part about it is that no, she couldn't do it. She could not do it. Ladies and gentlemen, she couldn't do it. And they can't stand it. They can't stand the fact that they're trying the best to say that she's great, that she's changed. They can't stand the fact that we're not even sure about her race. Normally kind of, race and, what you were born as. I was raised, an Irish Catholic. I was raised I was an Italian. I was an African American. She went from Asian to African American. She was born in Oakland, or maybe it was Berkeley, maybe it was Canada. Her whole life is one protean transmutational, transmogrifying lie and distortion. And now that she's here right now, she can't even answer questions. We don't even know what it is that she believes in. And what's even more important is that those of us who are going to vote for President Trump had no plans of sticking with her in the first place. But even to those individuals who claim to be her fans, claim to be her adherents, claim to be her acolytes, even they can understand what the hell she's saying. And it's a very simple concept. A very, very simple concept. So just remember something, dear friend. No matter what you think in terms of the, how do I say this? In terms of these media folks and types and, left MSDNC and CNN, they can't stand her. Say what you want. Joe Biden's only problem was complete and total mental collapse. Neurological and cognitive decrepitude and senescence and sundowning. Well, that's that. Her case is something organic. This is Kamala at her best. It's not getting any better because there is no better. She is at her best. Think about what this means. Think about the implications of this. Think about it. And as I always say to you, dear friend, as you think about this, I ask you one more thing to comment as you see fit.